Hi, welcome back to 5 Acres Honey Farm. I'm Tara Lynn and I'm heading out on my first hike of February. So we're going to do part of the Appalachian Trail from Stecoah Gap in Robbinsville, and hopefully we'll make it to the Brown Fort Gap shelter. And sorry, we don't have all of the seatbelts in right now, so it's beeping a bit, but we'll get up there and show you around. This is the view from the parking lot up on Sweetwater Road. The wildlife fence wall post. So there's the road. And so the wall will be straight there. We've almost made it to the Brown Fort Gap shelter, getting close. Inside the shelter is this little log book, and there's some cute little notes in here, but there's no pen, and I don't have a pen with me, so we'll just enjoy reading some. So the shelter's right there, and then the little privy is here. So I guess some spare buckets around. I'm not gonna open that. And I guess while you're sitting here, you're semi-private. I guess folks could just respect there, yes. But otherwise, there's a nice view on the other side. I'm surprised it doesn't face the other way. And this is the shelter. So as I'm standing here now, I can see that the toilet drops down into this little area down there. So we'll just stay back from there. Pausing a moment to show you how cool the trees are up here. Joyce Kilmer Forest in the area usually gets most of the reputation for big trees, but they are pretty big up here. My second trail of the month is the Tiny Greenway in downtown Pittsboro. This is qualifying as trails 3 and 4 because the Deep River State Trail is on this side of the lake, and then across, I'm sorry, not the lake, the river. Across the river is the Faith Rock Trail. I neglected to mention I'm in Franklinville, North Carolina, and there's also a Blue Way trail. So if I would have brought my kayak, I could have gotten a third trail out of this. But I know I'm mainly just focusing on the hiking trails this month. I'm adding a voiceover because the river was too loud and you couldn't really hear me, but the trail keeps going up there. And I saw a couple and another hiker a while ago, but I don't really feel comfortable because I'm by myself to keep going, and across the river is an abandoned factory and it just seems really secluded over here. The burial site of Chief Junaluska, and there's a little sign over here for the 2 different loops of the Medicine Trail. And allegedly Chief Junaluska saved the life of or I don't think he was president at the time, maybe, really bad with history, Andrew Jackson. And then later on, he had to walk in the Trail of Tears and go through that ordeal. And then he came back here to his homeland a few years before he passed away. And this is where they've laid him to rest. So I'm pretty blown away by this trail. I thought that I was gonna see maybe like a handful, maybe 10 different plant and tree markings, but I don't know if you can see, like up this hill, it just keeps going and going, and there are so many plants marked. It's really, really cool. Also, if you have seen an earlier video where I'm trying to identify a tree in our backyard, I still hadn't been able to figure it out, and I just turned around and this is exactly what it is. So I'm gonna post a link to that old video below so you can take a closer look at what the actual like fruits look like from the tree. So it's called a buffalo nut oil nut brush, and apparently deer can always be found near this tree, which we are seeing a lot of deer on the trail cam up there. And it also said that the Cherokee chewed the nut and swallowed the juice to induce vomiting. So I actually tried tasting the nut because I was trying to figure out if it tasted like something familiar, and it definitely induces that feeling. I didn't consume it, but I tasted it. So that's really really awesome. And I'll probably do a separate video about this as kind of like a recap and identifying it, but just really awesome serendipity moment. Another day, another trail. I am on the Appalachian Trail by Fontana Lake, going to the shelter. I think this is the most visually interesting section of the AT that I've been on. Like, there's some parts in the Great Smoky Mountains Park that are pretty and ridgeline, but being right on the lakeside is, I feel like, way more enjoyable. And I imagine this would look even more beautiful when all of the leaves are filled in a few months. I just took a little hike to the Fontana Hilton, which I have heard of before, but had never been to. I actually thought that the showers up at the dam were considered the Fontana Hilton, but this is the actual one. And someone has left a little pan here for cooking next to this huge fire pit, and we'll go up and take a look inside. Cool to see there's paved utility access here. It's pretty much closed off for public driving, but there's a solar cell phone charging station. Not really something you see when you're out hiking on the AT, so definitely a little luxurious thing, plus a nice water source right there if the lake wasn't good enough. And this shelter is fairly large. I like that you could be sleeping right there and look right out on the lake from both sides, so that you're, both bunk sides are optimized for that. There's a little logbook for hikers and a floaty. But this is a really great spot, and that's where I was just before, down by the fire pit. Just a lovely spot to relax after doing a big stretch of hiking. Thanks for watching my February hikes, and if you missed my January hike recap, I will post that below. North Carolina declared 2023 the year of the trail, and I set a personal challenge to, on average, visit a trail every week. If you saw my earlier video, and after seeing this one, I am ahead of schedule with visiting those trails, so I'm still trying to just stay ahead in case things come up and I need to take a break for any reason. But please let me know your recommendations for trails around North Carolina and the surrounding region, and potentially beyond, because I do have some other travels planned this year, and I would love some recommendations. Thanks.